Hey guys, Jim from GrowthWise here, and I am going to share with you a key technique and way of seeing events that unfold, particularly for frustrating events, that I learned from Steve Linder at Strategic Brain. And I'm going to use these Zoom tools here to show it to you. We call it PARB plus the 4 questions. And let me show you what I mean. So PARB is this repeating cycle that you are living through right now, whether you knew it or not, but now you're going to know it. So that means you're going to be able to take control of it. So here's what we have. We have P for potential, A for action, R for result, and B for belief. And here's what this means. Where you are right now, you have a certain potential to get a certain quality of results, and let's just pick a part of your life that you care a lot about. You've got a certain potential for getting the results you want. And based on your current potential, the quality of your thoughts, your skills, your actions, your experience, etc., everything that goes into your current potential, you're going to produce a certain quality of action. And that quality of action is going to produce a certain result. And then based on the result that unfolds, you're going to start forming beliefs about it and about yourself and your own potential. And based on the quality of your beliefs, it's going to have a huge impact on your future potential when you go do whatever it is again. And based on your potential at that point, you're going to take a certain quality of action, which will get a certain quality of result, which will affect your beliefs about yourself in the situation. And this is just going in a cycle all the time. Take any part of your life, this is playing out. PARB is. And the key part we want to highlight is the result. When you get that result, how you respond to the result is going to determine whether you start forming really positive, helpful beliefs that amplify your potential and lead to better actions and better results, and you go in this virtuous cycle where you get ever better. And if you think back to any part of your life that you are really skilled in, you've just been on a virtuous spiral of PARB. Ever better potential, ever better actions, ever better results, ever better beliefs that help you get even more success going forward, better potential, etc., etc. And anywhere right now in your life where you're struggling and really don't have the results you want, you are probably in a vicious spiral of PARB where you take a certain quality of action, it gets a result which you probably didn't like, then you formed all kinds of beliefs based on the result which hurt your potential, which led to less quality actions, less quality results, and you can fall into a downward spiral. So when I show you, I call this PARB in the 4 questions. When I show you these 4 questions, when you apply them to any result you get, whether in class or in work or socially, romantically, with your fitness, your diet, etc., when you apply these 4 questions to the result, you immediately flip it into a virtuous cycle of success. So let me show you the 4 questions. When you get that result, apply the 4 questions. And the first question you want to apply is, what really happened? A lot of times when we first get the result, we, without realizing it, can apply a meaning to the experience that is extremely destructive. And what usually informs that is our brain's habit of deleting, distorting, and generalizing. And to explain that a little bit, as we go through our lives, our brains are taking in so much information through social media and news and blah, blah, blah. And because there's so much information coming in, and this is true even for nomadic hunter-gatherers, there's just so much going on at every moment. Sometimes you feel your heartbeat, it's going really fast, you realize you're nervous, and you're like, oh, what am I nervous about? And then you realize an event earlier in the day that made you nervous. And this can, and let alone your heartbeat, but what's the temperature? How hungry am I? What are recent memories that are coming up? What's an old memory that pops up? What's going on in this interaction? We've got their facial expressions, the words they say, there's just so much information at every moment. And because of that, our brains are naturally deleting, distorting, and generalizing. So if you think of a recent event that maybe didn't go your way, let's say I took a test and I got 78 and I actually wanted something in the 90s. uh, I might have just formed a belief from that test that I'm stupid. I'm not meant for this class. Deleting all the times in my past where I had frustrating outcomes but stuck with it, and then eventually got to the end result that I wanted. Maybe those frustrating outcomes, maybe even better. But I've deleted that, and I'm deleting it. I'm not even thinking about those things. Maybe I'm distorting it. Maybe I gave a presentation, and my boss made a funny face, um, and I distorted it into he hates me. When actually the boss might have just checked text from his wife, and maybe their kid did something in school, and just something I have no idea about. But I have seen that one little facial expression and just distorted it into something terrible about me, and it's not at all based in the truth. And so you want to catch where might I be distorting what happened into something way bigger and more negative than it actually is. Similar to generalizations, it's like maybe after that experience, I've got a troubled history with authority in my past, and I've come to this sort of unspoken belief, this generalization that authority figures never like me or are not to be trusted. And again, so you just want to catch, what really valuable information might I be deleting from my understanding of the event? Where have I maybe distorted things? Where am I generalizing? And as you take out the deletions, the distortions, and generalizations, you come back to just the actual data points of what took place. I gave a presentation. I saw my boss make a funny face. Those might be the facts. And we don't have to put all kinds of other meanings on it that could destroy our excitement for work, our relationship with this person, our morale at the job, our optimism for our future path in this career, etc., etc., etc. So what really happened? And that's where you're just removing deletions, distortions, and generalizations. Second question that you want to ask is, what are the learnings I can take from this? And for it to qualify as a learning, it's got to be positive about yourself and about the future. So I'll say a little more about that. Let's say from that experience of giving the presentation and my boss made a funny face. Okay, the learnings, hey, actually, I need to finish my presentation 2 days before, not the night before. So I have some time to think and breathe and reflect on the presentation and then come back with fresh eyes and put in any last adjustments that might have cleaned up whatever is in the presentation that maybe failed to impress. So it's got to be positive. Next time I'm going to finish this 2 days ahead of time. It's got to be about yourself. The learning is not my boss is an asshole. Make it about yourself, and it's, hey, I could have planned my time better so that I produced a better quality report. And it's got to be about the future. What am I going to do going forward that's going to be different and better? The learning is not, this week was so unfair. No, it's about what you're going to do differently in the future. Third question you're going to ask after what really happened and what are the learnings I can take from this? Where and how can I integrate this? So these learnings, how am I going to apply them going forward? For my next presentation in 2 weeks, I'm going to make sure it's done 2 days ahead of time. I'm going to make sure that once or twice in the week, I ask my boss, a little deeper question about something my boss cares about so I can build up the rapport between me and him. That could be a cool learning that'll build up my relationships at work, my rapport, which contributes a lot to just your feeling of psychological safety in your job. Where and how will I integrate this? If it was that I failed to work out this week, I had a plan to work out 4 times this week and I only worked out once, okay. What got in the way of working out those other 3 days? Maybe, my kids were awake and they were distracting me. And so maybe how I'm going to integrate this is I'm going to wake up a half hour earlier each day and take care of whatever happens at night so I can go to sleep a little earlier and wake up earlier, whatever it is. And that's how I'm going to integrate this learning and apply it differently. And the fourth point you want to ask is, how and with whom can I share these learnings? And when you start to see how your learnings are going to help others, not just yourself, but a bigger cause you care about or the people you love, or you're going to be able to share this with your friend one day or your kid one day or your partner one day or employees who work for you one day. As you start to think about the broader good this is going to bring and the other lives you're going to touch, you amplify the good that came from the experience. I mean, so many studies will show that whenever we can put our experience in the context of something bigger than us, you find a bigger and deeper reason for living. And just by thinking about who can I help with these learnings, who am I going to get to help, you're just putting yourself in sort of this place of abundance and generosity and goodwill, which is just really good for your well-being. It's really good for the energy you show up to the other people in your life with. You're going to build more trust this way. You're going to have better relationships. People are going to want to help you more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anytime you have a result that is frustrating, stop yourself at that point and just go through the 4 questions so that the beliefs and the mindset you come out of that result with are going to start producing, are going to build up your potential, produce better actions, and get you into that virtuous cycle of better and better results, more and more learnings, as opposed to that vicious cycle where you are just distorting, deleting, and generalizing and creating all kinds of unhelpful meanings that affect your potential and will lead to you taking worse quality actions in the future and getting worse results. You get the idea of the cycle. So PARB is key. And in our coaching together, we're going to bring it up and we're just going to, jump in, see the result, run through the 4 questions, and get you into virtuous cycles in everything you're doing. Thanks a lot.